Have Kojo Preko Dankwa, Folk Up Convener. Much later on, we're going to be talking to Robert Clark, the PRO of Charterhouse as well. And then if time permits, we'll also speak with Frankie Five. But in the meantime, Uncle Ken.
Yeah.
We're back again.
Where did all that come from?
Which one?
Former artist manager.
Are you not?
I'm sure it was your producer who
It is Philip.
got into that.
Yeah, again, you see, what you did to him in the afternoon, he's engaging in reprisals.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Sadiq, you know, this is a perfect time for you to ask one question.
Yes.
You know, tonight is VGME, right?
Yes.
And one question they always ask is, what are you wearing?
Yes.
Today you should ask Uncle
What are
Ken
you wearing
what he's
or who are
wearing
you wearing? What did they
at the streets.
Who are you wearing?
Oh no, today.
Today
He's not wearing the designer. The designer, no, you know the designer. He
I
doesn't
said
want
I
to.
will not wear it again.
Yeah, he's been managing it bit by
To
bit.
this place.
What's the name again?
I don't know.
Jonathan
But Uncle Ken, I hope you had a good
How
week
are you?
though.
Yeah, how's the week been?
It's been amazing.
And because says he's never done red carpet in his life.
Oh, really?
Wait, is it Kofi or Kojo?
It's Kofi. I will pardon
Kofi Hayford. How do the girls call you?
I know too many
Braco.
Hayfords.
Hey, Kojo.
I know too many Hayfords. Some are
Hey,
Kojo, some are
Kofi.
Kofi.
That's
I'm
true.
confused.
But I hope you had a great week though, Uncle Ken.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Yes, very relaxing. It's just that the rainstorm yesterday, tore down some of the electricity cables around our area.
Oh wow.
So we were in darkness the whole day and the whole night.
Oh.
It just came to rectify it. I had to go there, make sure they come because Charlie, it was high. And petrol is expensive, so running gensets
is very expensive.
is not a joke. So at least they've sorted it out. And I'd like to say thanks to Ola Watati of ECG, who helped out a lot, and his men. Nice. Ola, thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay, amen. God bless you, Ola. Sadiq,
Yes.
how's it been for you this week?
Oh, it was a festive week for me.
It started on Monday.
Well, started on Sunday. My wife's birthday was on Sunday.
Oh.
So I was in celebratory mood from Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Monday, the rice.
Yeah, the rice
the
and the
salad
meat.
rice.
Yeah. You didn't
Relax,
bring
relax.
it. So
You
it's
don't
not
rush too
relaxed.
much. Relax. You don't rush too much. That's the rice. You don't rush.
This is not the time
You want
for
everybody.
salads.
You want our listeners to know we are sharing salad rice here. Yeah, we'll be full.
I was just about saying that.
The fewer the merrier, so we all can.
Right.
So I was in a celebratory feast mood within the week. It was Salah, and then of course I resumed work on Thursday.
Oh.
And yeah.
You were even working during Salah.
Kojo,
Yes, sir.
Charlie, how have you been?
I did cool. Cool.
Did you get any meat anyway? Because I have to recap from there. We have 2 Muslims in our midst and we didn't get any meat.
I'm surprised. I think they have to do the needful today.
You need to hash it. The meat is here.
Okay.
People line up.
I'll tone it down.
There's no cause for alarm.
No, I'll
Then
tone
we are
it
fine.
down.
Me too. I won't say plenty. Because if we say plenty, they will drive it away. So we won't say anything.
But generally, I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's been good. It's
Okay.
been good. Except like what Uncle Ken said, the rain. Yesterday, I think yesterday evening, I was even on the motorway. I could see, trees. By the roadside and all that. It tells you that if people were on the road,
Could have been
that
disastrous.
challenge would have been very disastrous and all that. And I think that again is a caution that we need to really trim and position well on the motor with our trees and all that. Because if imagine if it was traffic and the rain the wind was on like that, you could tell the number of trees that will go down and all that. Heavy. It was too heavy. I think that we need to really do something about that. But in general, it was cool.
Okay.
It was cool.
Chief Moomin.
Yeah, Kofi, I must confess that I really like the verve with which you introduced me. You mentioned my name first. Chief Moment, Poor Playwright, Creative Entrepreneur. I almost didn't recognize myself. I thought, hey, who is that big man? Yes.
Apart from your name that we all know,
Yes.
did he give you another title in the introduction?
No, it's just my usual title, Poet, Playwright, Creative Entrepreneur. But my point is that he mentioned it with such verve. I'm like, hey, Charlie, amen to that.
So I didn't hear Dr. Chief.
Oh no.
I thought I heard something.
No.
I haven't reached there yet. But yeah, I mean, as we
And I would not have
celebrated.
been surprised though.
Oh yeah, I mean, academia
you
is one
won't
of the areas I may end up when I finish my
Exactly,
dreams.
exactly.
Yes, so not. I mean, Dr. Moomin doesn't sound
It
bad.
doesn't sound
It
bad.
doesn't sound bad at all, you know. It doesn't sound bad. But anyway, gentlemen, you're welcome once again. Just last week we were talking about Kweku the Traveler, and it was an interesting conversation. That's what we started with, and guess what? Just a few days afterwards, then we have Stonebwoy in a new deal. Sadiq, I really want to start with you. I want to have your thoughts on this particular one. Stonebwoy signed to UMG's,
Def Jam.
Def Jam Recordings Africa.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Wow.
It's a good one.
Wow.
It's a good one.
What does it mean for the industry?
Well, it means a lot. Over time, a lot of people have been making a lot of commentary around the fact that there are no structures in industry. There are no structures in industry. Essentially, even if they don't know they're talking about is the lack of well-run business units in industry. And so when you have well-run international companies such as Universal, UMG. Universal, by the way, is one of 3 mega labels in the world.
Wow.
I mean, Universal, Sony, Warner. And so if you have Universal in any of their imprints, looking in the country, signing on talent, and actually employing some Ghanaians to work for them in their liaison office, it's a good one for industry, because beyond they getting the opportunity to make Stonebwoy a truly global artist, the transfer of knowledge in terms of how things are done properly will be good. Because once you're signed on to Universal now, a few ethical things that will not escape them is ensuring, for instance, if anybody that is on your song, they ensure that the split sheets are signed, and they ensure that the onboarding process for other creatives that work on your videos and everything are done properly in the ways that it should be done across the world. They would because they are a big company across, and they know that as a big organization they can be sued anywhere across the world.
Right.
So they would go the extra mile to ensure that they do some things right in the ways that anybody that works with them would pick up some of these knowledge. And if we are having a critical mass of the UMGs, the Sony, and all of them in the industry, that is essentially the structures that we talk about. Because beyond the laws, which gives industry that sense of structure, you need this well-organized or well-run business units who, by virtue of operating very well, will adhere to the laws, which the laws and how things are supposed to be done properly, which would then now give industry that sense of structure. So it's a good one for industry. And then again, beyond that, the way they go about making Stonebwoy a truly global artist, the process, how the songs are done and everything. Anybody that's actually sit back and is able to properly observe and look at it, it will provide lessons or learnings for industry in the ways that we can, follow through and ensure that we'll blow. And if you look at it, you would see. Take a look at Therapy. You'll see a certain difference.
Yeah, that's true.
And I asked Stonebwoy there when I was like, "Did you write the song?" And he says, "Oh yeah, he wrote the song, but obviously there will be some part of it. There'll be input from them here and there." You would see Stonebwoy has always been like that, but you see a more pop vibe of Therapy, and these guys, they have the insight across in terms of how and where such music will do, and so they'll bring a lot of these impacts on to bear on it, and these things can really help. And I'm also glad that they actually even have a local team working for their office here as liaisons, and beyond that, there'll be some members of Stonebwoy's team that will be doing a lot of work with them as well, which is always a good one for industry.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Stonebwoy getting signed on to Def Jam Recordings, and then we're also talking about this particular song which he released, Therapy, here on Joy FM.
Joy99.7.
If you haven't heard about this song, well, this is the song we're talking about. This is the song that outdoored Stonebwoy as a Def Jam Africa signee. And we're looking at. I mean, this is great. I mean, but what exactly? I'd like to ask Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken, Stonebwoy detailed that this has been a long time coming. The conversation has been in the pipeline for about 5 years, and I'm asking myself, what does it mean for other artists in Ghana?
All it means is that if you work hard and you do what attracts the big, companies, they'll come for you. I do not have anything else to add from what Baba has already said.
Right.
Because Baba said it all. And the only thing that caught my attention was when I heard therapy. When I read about the deal, and I heard therapy, I smiled, and I said to myself, I'll wait for about a week or two and see how the Ghanaian audience react
to the song.
Therapy. And strangely enough, I haven't heard too much being said about it. All I hear people talk about is the deal in itself. But the song, Therapy, I haven't heard people make the sort of noise they would otherwise have made if it was a real Stonebwoy as we know him song.
Stonebwoy jam,
As we know him jam. But you see, then Sadiq explained why.
Right.
Because the record company knows where they want to go with him. So they will determine the sort of, music that he puts out. And this song epitomizes that, with the record companies. Kudos to Stonebwoy. I just hope the deal works for all. And he makes us proud.
Chief Moomin, let me have your thoughts on it.
Yes, I mean, for me, this is further evidence that the industry is developing. I think that we are getting more and more in sync with the global space. We've always made the point that the creative industry holds great potential, and out there is billion-dollar business, and we've not even scratched the surface here in our part of the world. And there's just so much enormous talent. I mean, even though I'm an artist myself, in a way I'm also a talent kind of manager, because when I'm doing my productions, I look out for great talent, and I just see all of these young people, actors, singers, dancers, and there's always this glass ceiling that we're never able to go beyond because of the limitations of our market. So definitely we need big visions, big brands, big investments in order to unearth what we have to show to the world. So for me, this is just further evidence, and I think that in a decade from now, we're going to see some significant shift in our cultural and entertainment industry. Looking at the way even those in the creative sectors are now, everyone is now very irate. Ghanaian musicians are now, thanks to the competition from our brothers in Nigeria, they see that, Charlie, look, we can't sit on our horse. These guys are selling out Madison Square Garden, across Europe. They are big global stars. And if you go on social media, you see how people put pressure on Ghanaians. Look at what the others are doing. So there's this sense of urgency, I believe, that is creeping into the system. And as Baba said, he likes to say, this new generation of young acts coming, also thanks to the proliferation of information in social media, they see that the star is just the starting point, and that there's so much to achieve. So for me, I'm very happy for Stonebwoy, but I would say that some of these big signing comes with a particular attitude and discipline that is important for our artists to be able to master, because as he has said, it's going to be a very regimented process. There are ethics that you have to. There's some hard work, so it's not just about the signing; it's about actually the hard work that you must do to be a global brand. If you want to go be a global brand, there's some things that you have to do. There's some kind of hard work you have to put in to ensure that you are working, you are creating music, you are rehearsing, you are being professional. Those are the things that our young people who hope to attract such level of sponsorships, investments, and signings should be start attuning their minds to. That is professional. Look, gone were the days where we saw art as just a relaxation thing. It's big business. It's a whole professional enterprise. If you watch a Beyonce production at Coachella, you know that these people mean goddamn business. They mean business. It's serious, from the conceptualization stage to the recruiting, the casting stage to the rehearsal to the production. It's serious business, So it's high time that our local artists begin to develop that global mindset if they really want to go global. And congratulations to Stonebwoy, and we are hoping that whatever deal they also sign should also inure to the benefit of our local acts, right? Because we also know that when these big brands are coming for you, because you see that they are big and you want to associate with them, sometimes you may end up signing off or right. So I hope that we also have the local competence in terms of value and lawyers to advise our people to make sure that, look, these guys are not coming to do you a favor. They are coming because the data shows that there's an emerging population of young people. There's an emerging interest in African music. Afrobeat is going around the world. So they're not just coming because they feel, let's go to Ghana and let's sign them and let's do them a favor and let's develop. It's just all business. So they see some value. That is why they are opening up stations all over and all of that. So we must first appreciate our own value, and we must make sure that we don't negotiate that value away. So I hope that lawyers in our country to be in tune to the realities of the entertainment world, and then provide the right legal advice and support that our people need in order for us to get good deals, to make sure that whatever partnerships that we sign would also inure to our benefit.
Thank you very much, Chief Moomin. Kojo, Chief Moomin has touched on a bit on what I wanted to ask next, which is that what should other musicians do to attract such deals? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's hard work. Just as Uncle Ken said, I mean, if you put in much effort, you're going to get to where you want to. And I think creativity, I mean, we are not boxed. You can do anything, anytime across, and I think Stonebwoy has really done that. Even before the signing, Stone has done a lot. I mean, globally, doing the collaborations with almost every single, great, musician on the continent. I think his, what's his name, Angloga Junction and all that. I mean, you could tell the kind of people, he had collaborations with, and tells you that the guy has really gone beyond Africa, and this is something that is great, and is a good news for all of us. The key word here for me is global, and if we're doing this and the key word for us is global, then it means that we need to think beyond, the African continent. We're happy to see people like Burna Boy and all those people, Angelique Kidjo and all that, doing beyond the borders of the African continent and all that. And I think that it is high time our musicians also think global and then spend a lot of time on their talent. They should spend time. This young chap, when I was listening to him telling his story from Ashaman, telling you what he's gone through, the process, single-handedly handling himself, right? Until such a time that he's now gaining the audience and all that. It tells you hard work has really gone into whatever he's done. Character-wise, he has really performed very well. It is not easy to find Stonebwoy messing himself up with so many issues within the space until the Chatterhouse gun thing came in, and the Ashaman, his yearly shows, events that he does at Ashaman, where we had another issues on the stage with Shatta and all those things. Beyond that, you've not heard anything major when it comes to him. And I think
that's major.
Well, it's
there was also the one with him and Bulldog.
Yes. At the, is it Legon?
No, Legon.
I think Paloma. Yeah, Paloma here.
So apart from those major ones,
apart from those major ones, major ones, I think he's good to go, and we pray that we give him the support. It's the support that the chap needs, and like Anke said, after I was waiting to see headlines, serious headlines on this, and it looks as if it is really down. And the Nigerians will tell you, for us, we want to I mean, we tell you who our people are, but we don't celebrate the same people.
So in essence, you're saying other media houses should support
Joy
FM to blow it out.
See the thing?
Because we have a couple of stories on my Joy
Hasn't
Online.
Been everywhere. I mean, I've seen it all over the
has
news.
just made
Head on entertainment review. I mean, we are discussing it now. I'm not sure what else the
but
media
Chief,
should do.
Kojo has just raised a point.
Yes.
And that takes me back to an issue that
That broke out
involved
2 days ago.
Stoneboy just recently, a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And Kobiche,
Kovic, the PR part.
the PR
Yeah.
guy came up
Yeah.
to say things about it. Stoneboy, I think, was expecting a lot more noise from us
Yeah.
as a country
Yes.
on this deal.
Yeah.
I like that word, a country,
Yes.
not
Yes.
just the entertainment
as a country
Yes.
from
Yes.
this deal. And I think
understand.
because he didn't get that, that prompted him to make that comment.
Uncle, can I play the devil's advocate?
Stoneboy make a
I mean,
comment?
Yeah,
he did.
He did say.
I was even going to go on that. I mean, he
Stoneboy
really
said
made
that,
passionate appeal about. I mean, we're not
we don't
supporting. We
know
don't really.
how
I mean,
to
you know,
support.
We
I
don't
think that we
value-
need to
yes.
nuance.
And we
Look,
don't
I'm an
know-
artist myself.
No,
He said we don't know how
Yes.
to dwell on success
okay,
and blow it out.
yeah, which is right, but
right.
but again, there's another part of it in a lot of the matured markets
Yeah.
where it seems as though the markets actually knows how to dwell and blow it out. It's engineered.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, right.
Of course.
The PR, the bars, the stunts,
Exactly.
they are
And
all
that's where Kobiche
engineered.
was coming from.
They are all engineered because if you
PR
leave
angle,
it, if you leave
For an organic
it,
reaction.
if you leave the control to people to do it, they'll do it the way
No.
they do.
Haphazardly.
Yeah.
But you can engineer it.
Yeah.
It could be somebody from the
Yeah.
team
Yeah.
touching base with the specific
Agree.
people. Look, we sit down and engineer trends on Twitter.
Right.
Yes,
But
yes.
engaging
Right, that's true.
influencers.
You're right.
Yes,
So
it's
you
true.
sit
That's
down
true.
when we want to have conversations on everything. We engineer it from a Twitter space. You can engineer a whole conversation. Then it moves and moves. It's engineered, But I understand that in the ways here in Ghana, I've always made this particular point that it's hard for the talent community to appreciate like engineered promotion because they are not used to it, and there's a history to it. There was a particular point where there was a whole call around ending Payola. Ending Payola. It was a good one. But what that left was that it kind of created the impression that it is the duty of industry to actually have to blow. Yes, that's one of the byproducts, or that's some of the benefits of industries or industry generally in terms of how they set the agenda and they put out information. That's one of the benefits.
Yeah.
Right? But if you really wanted that, but you've got to engineer it.
Of course, it is engineered. Baba.
You've got to take it
Global
up,
companies.
run it. It's like,
Yeah,
look,
yeah,
take a look at the brands.
Yeah.
They want a certain perception, they want a certain brand positioning. You engineer it. But like I said, from that particular part, once the impression was created that it's up for industry, historically from that time till now, the impression has always been created as if industry must do this. Industry must do this. Well, yes, you're right. Industry must actually, prioritize and everything. But I understand Stoneboy too in a way. He's got a lot of industry relationships. Stoneboy has a lot of relationships.
He's been in the game
showed that.
for a while.
So
Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It must be engineered.
It must be engineered.
It's as
No,
simple
but
as that.
it's also a good expectation
Yes.
for Stoneboy because Stoneboy has
It's
a
as simple
relationship.
as
For instance,
that.
Stoneboy has a relationship with me, and he knows that in the kind of relationship we have, when his things come out, I need to take it personal.
Right.
Because he knows we take it personal. We can take it personal.
Yeah.
So sometimes he's speaking on it from the point of the fact that look, I've got relationship, I've got favorable partner. Stoneboy will consider multimedia as a favorable partner in what he does because of the things he does with multimedia. He will
came on
consider
Mix
TV3. Yes,
Yeah,
he
he
will
was
consider
here- he was
TV3
here
the same way.
yesterday.
Was
So,
he not there?
so
He was here on
yeah,
Drive
so
Time.
often
Oh,
with
he was here on Drive Time
Yes,
too.
yes.
Okay.
often when they go the extra mile to build this relationship with industrial personnel and media houses and everything, they do that with the mindset that media bar you for blue arm. It's all digital.
Yeah.
Kofi, let me have
And
a
so they
bite
have
at
that,
this.
but it needs to be engineered.
I mean, I think it's really much ado about nothing, right? I think that the media does what it does. I saw this news on several websites. I heard it on entertainment news. What more do we expect from the media? Joy FM should go and print a banner and hang it in
But
town.
I like the agenda
we
setting
should
effect.
we should get a brass band,
Exactly. No,
you
but-
know,
but-
and
but-
no,
but-
but
agenda
yes,
effect
but
what
my
we're
point that we
looking at.
expect too
You
much.
understand?
No,
Look,
um,
I'm an
You like
artist.
the
I want
agenda
support.
setting. You like the
But
agenda
yes,
setting effect.
Chief, ask yourself.
yes.
You like the agenda
What
setting.
did Stoneboy expect
Yeah, well, that's my point. What did he expect?
Well,
Because the news was all over.
Well, he expected us to do more. For example,
Like what?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah,
I'll
give
give
me
you
a
an
practical
example.
example.
For
Agenda
example,
setting effect.
yeah. For example, this is not in a positive light, but for example, the men's gold issue.
Yeah.
You know, when negative
And the mileage.
news come out,
Yes.
Look at the extent to which
That's
But
the point.
that is a
That's-
natural phenomenon. Negative news sells.
Yeah,
How many
good,
times
good.
you see
So-
on CNN and you know?
good.
it's
So can
always-
we do
yes,
same? Can we
it's
do
news.
same
When
for
it's
for,
positive.
for him?
So
when
you
it's
are not
positive?
doing enough. This conversation
Yeah,
is
so
not
like
enough.
Ken said, how many times have we heard therapy being played?
Yeah.
For instance.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I
I'm even
disagree.
waiting
I
for
disagree. It's
ministry.
a new song.
I'm even waiting for
I mean,
ministry to
so
even
what?
quit.
Look,
I'm even
so
waiting for
Joy
Mark-
FM to
Mark
change
and the
its
ministry.
evening
One-
news.
one voice at a time,
montage
ladies and
into
gentlemen.
therapy.
One at a time,
I mean,
please.
where are these things?
No, this is not really about Stonebwoy.
Chief
Let
Women,
me
hold
make
on.
it clear. This is not about Stonebwoy.
Chief
This is
Women,
about the
hold on,
general
hold on.
conversations
Yeah, but
we
let
have.
me
The
give you-
Ghanaians, we are not
let me give you
supported.
insight.
The industry is not this. Meanwhile, the guys are moving forward and making money.
Let me give you an insight.
Yes.
For instance, a certain industry, let me say, secrets or revelation
Yes.
that Stonebwoy knows,
That's
and that's why he's touching on it. When there's a release or something from Links Entertainment, the way we go the extra mile on that. Again,
why.
Black Sharif.
Thank you. Good
Again,
question.
I'll come to that. Black Sharif. I know how a number of us went the extra mile to go to ensure that this thing gets to the thing that he gets.
But you can't go
Stonebwoy know-
extra
I'm
mile for
coming.
everybody. Though.
I'm coming. Yeah, relax. In Stonebwoy's case,
Yes.
Stonebwoy's case, he's not one of those artists who doesn't support industry to that point where he does where he's not supposed to get some of these things. Stonebwoy is very supportive. Stonebwoy has really. Stonebwoy is one of those people that also goes the extra mile to build and support industrial things with the expectation that when my own come, you go the extra mile for me in the ways I go for you. And so what he means on this particular is not the fact that there was no media reportage on it. Or
No,
we're
there
not
were,
talking
there
about
were,
it.
I
It
mean.
lacked that gender setting impact.
Okay. All right.
Kofi,
There
can
should
you
have been
do
a-
one of your voice thing and just announce
no,
the
no,
world
no.
about this new?
If I listen to you, yeah.
Stonebwoy has been signed by Universal. Yay!
Uncle Ken, let's hear Uncle Ken, and then
Guys, I'm
I'll
just
come
being
back to
mischievous.
Sadiq.
Listen to the song.
Okay.
Therapy.
Okay.
Baba raised a very critical point about the tune. It has a popish appeal.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Popish.
Pop,
Pop,
like
pop,
pop.
pop.
Okay.
you know.
Okay. Okay.
It has a popish appeal. So then you ask yourself, why? Why have they taken Stonebwoy out of his comfort zone that we know as Ghanaians
Exactly.
who support our Stonebwoy? Why have they taken Stonebwoy out of his comfort zone on this particular song?
The Ragga man.
You are targeting
the-
a particular
Right.
audience.
Markets.
Thank you.
They're looking to convert for like
They are
other markets.
looking at projecting him elsewhere. Taking him away from his and projecting him elsewhere. with
Because
this particular song.
he's one of our top three. He has
So
actualized in
Stonebwoy-
this market.
Stonebwoy, I do not know, but Stonebwoy feels that even though his record company is taking him somewhere in his hometown, he also expects us to keep him still up there.
Yeah,
Right.
because
Uncle Ken, let me ask a
let me
question.
let me just give
If
an
you are
insight here.
if you are mentioning three top musicians in Ghana, who would they be?
He'll be one.
He'll be one. How did he get there?
Oh no,
Well, it's
I
because
don't
we
think
all help.
Stonebwoy. I don't
No,
think
it's
Stonebwoy
not even
suggesting
about
that he
Stonebwoy.
doesn't get the
Sadiq.
support.
This is not really about. It's just the phenomenon. It's just we are using this as an example because we have these conversations a lot about the industry not supporting, about Ghanaians not supporting. Meanwhile, the guys are big stars here. So my point is that we make too much out of this narrative that the media is not supporting our artists. Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, these guys are big. When Sarkodie does his show on the 24th, who are those who are buying the tickets to see them? We have made these guys
Okay,
who they
They
are.
are confusing here. Look, there are things to consider here. Having a strong top of mind in market often is also different when you have with having the same impact when you put out a project or a release. So you can have a top of mind, like strong top of mind, drop a project which critically doesn't do the numbers.
Exactly.
Because it's not gotten the attention. So I don't think that Stonebwoy or a lot of the artists are disputing their visibility or top of mindedness, for want of a better
In the
word.
country.
Yeah, but sometimes they refer to how certain moments of their lives that they think will gain a certain critical numbers and attention
Right.
that doesn't get.
Yeah, I
That's the
agree
things
with
that
you.
he's
Yeah.
looking at. And I'm saying
Right.
to you
Yeah.
that if Stonebwoy was any of those acts, for instance, who was not supportive of industrial initiatives or industrial platforms or anything like that, I think it would be fine. That, oh yeah, because I don't support him. But he does that.
So he
And so-
expects,
and
he
when
expects
he
it to
does
return.
that, he does that with an intention that I am doing this because definitely I also want to have a favorable relationship with you, so
Yeah.
that when my things come, you also will go the extra mile. And I've made the point. Look, there's a certain disconnect between the talent community and industry. Often we call on them to say, support us as well. Jump on the initiatives. Do this. Support us. Do so. Support us. Do the liners for us. Appear for the interviews. Do this for us. Do this for us. They go the extra mile to do that. But when they do that, the next thing is, whilst they do that, which helps to build us or amplify whatever we're building, what do we do in return? If we are also going to now begin to do, it's business as usual, then when they also do business as usual, we shouldn't complain.
All right.
You understand? So
Yeah.
that is how it should be. And often, the support your own, if you look at it critically, depending on who is coming from, you would often hear industry's voice, even if it's not specific. If it's coming from a talent that is widely known not to do, and there's a way industry people behave, in the quiet, there's what we say to ourselves. Now, because of the whole fanaticism and how they want to whip everybody into line, there's what you choose to say on air, particularly if you're not took skin or not, and there's what you say behind. There's a real truth behind that you won't let anybody say. That you know if you say it, people will misconstrue and say
Controversy.
it. So they would act it. So if you're a talent that does not support your own camp, I know plenty of them. Your own camp, nobody will mind you. But Stonebwoy doesn't fall in that category. He falls in the category of the talents that actually support. If you talk to all of your media house people here, they will
So
tell you.
Sadiq, let me. I think we have to move on. But let me pick your thoughts on the inside. Do you have any more info? Do you know the duration of this this deal?
No, I mean, even if I know, it will always be subject to. It will be subject to it will be subject to what's it called, NDAs. So you can't say it.
Okay.
But
Kojo,
no.
Okay, so Uncle Ken.
I seriously think that the reason why we are discussing this matter is because the song that came out with the announcement of the deal has not hit.
Uncle Ken, it's a week. That song is less than. Is it up to a week?
I'm saying
It's not been activated yet. It's now about to be activated.
Now about to be activated.
Activated, yeah.
Thank you. It has not really hit the public as yet, So, okay, he's been signed on. Nice one. We are happy. But with time, when the song gets, through to us, it's just like these guys are changing their tone.
The young people, the young guys.
Yeah, and Stonebwoy and Shatta and what's his name?
Sarkod, yeah.
They're also moving elsewhere.
And their numbers
because
are
they
dropping.
cannot be stagnant. They need to move because the young guys are catching up.
No, because they've done a decade.
They've done a decade.
They've
and
done
This
over,
is how
most
to
of them.
sustain yourself
If
after
you
a
look
decade.
at Shatta Wale's new release, the On God, or
He's been trying
Yeah,
to.
it's on God.
It's in the line of Kofi the Traveler.
Okay, I haven't actually heard it.
Okay.
I'm
It
actually
is
now
not-
getting.
Uncle Ken,
It
we
is
I think
not-
we have
So
to
Kofi,
move
let me
on.
conclude by saying that.
We have
it
to
is not
move on.
vintage
Don't get me
Shatta
wrong.
No.
It is
Okay.
not vintage
Look,
Shatta
I
Okay.
think that we should all support, each other, one another. But I sometimes think we make too much of a deal about support here, and I think that we are supporting one way or the other.
Oh, you're right.
Artists should
You're
just
right.
focus on creating content that is compelling to ignore. For me, that's my policy.
Full stop. Full
Whoever
stop.
can
Thank
shut
you.
that will have
Thank,
a song.
thank, thank
You
you
need to
very
engineer
much.
it.
Whoever
Of
can
Thank
course,
you.
I
Thank
mean,
you
there's a
very much.
science to it.
Song,
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen,
saxophone.
you're still listening to Showbiz A to Z, and it's brought to you by MTN everywhere you go and Superstar Multi Fruit Drink from Casapreco Company Limited. Last week we touched on a very sensitive issue: FOCAP versus the Creative Arts Agency. Well, FOCAP are accusing the Creative Arts Agency of perpetrating illegalities, and we had Kojo Preko, in here to just, someone would say, brush stop. But he says today he's back with, to delve deeper into it and give us more insight into it. Kojo, for the benefit of those who couldn't catch us last week, what is the issue?
Okay, so thank you. I think today we'll hear from Ken, who was asking for 30 minutes.
Yes,
and then
yes.
We eat deeper into it, but at least
Which Ken are you talking about?
Uncle Ken. So basically, we're saying, FOCAP is saying that we won't sit for the ministry, which is the mother body for the agency called the Creative Art Agency, to be perpetrating illegalities by putting personalities there who is an act, a 1048 act, and calling for an executive secretary and a board chairman, and we do not have a board secretary and an executive secretary, why would we have somebody we want to call an acting CEO who has already started job, and that is Jan Kroma, the president's daughter, working efficiently and doing, things that we think the board should be doing, and we think that we need to respect the Act 1048, 1048. That is all that we're asking the ministry and probably president, because of Article 195 again. Asking him to do the needful, just as he's done to the National Film Authority, which is working efficiently, even though that's what I was getting to, it is on wheels, but it is not too
at least
perfect.
Things are in order,
Things
the
are
processes
in order.
are
We have
following
the
through,
secretary,
right?
who is also calling herself a CEO, and we have a board, which is also not.
Why do you keep saying they are calling themselves?
Yeah, that's how they call themselves, and it's interesting that these two, women we have, sweet women we have within the industry, choose not to go with the titles and all that, and they choose to have their own. And we have a board chairman who is David Donto. Knowing very well that it's also not effective. If he was here, I would have told him point blank that he's not being effective, and the board is just there not doing anything effectively. But notwithstanding, there's an executive secretary adored, launched, or probably whatever you want to call it, at Jubilee House. We expect the same thing to happen to the Creative Art Agency, so that we can properly function. It hurts FOCA because this is one of the main pillars, within the campaign, and then within from 2018 up until now, we've been fighting for and hoping to be the mother for creative art, and every single thing that we need to talk about when it comes to creative art, our needs and wants and everything, should be under this agency. And it has gone through the mail. We used an emergency, to pass this law in 2020. We've done all these things, and yet we cannot even say that we are happy to say President has appointed an executive secretary for us and the board chairman. So we think that the needful needs to be done for us to also, move on. Basically, that is what FOCAP is also asking. Yeah.
Right. So last week we also spoke with Frankie, who I asked him if he was actually the acting deputy CEO of the Creative Arts Agency. Well, he answered. He said no.
Okay.
Unless, of course, I've forgotten, but that's what he said.
No, he said
no.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you heard his reactions, right?
Yes, I heard his
what
reactions.
he had to say about it. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, and you couldn't also react to it. So would you do us the honors?
I think that Frankie really and truly dodged all your questions you were asking. He didn't really, stand on his feet to really do the needful to hit it on the nail. So he was just playing around like that. So one, I heard him say that already there is an ad hoc committee that was working, and that it has just, as somebody would say, dovetailed into what we have presently as the Creative Arts Agency.
That's wrong.
And I thought that is so wrong for him to even come up like that. It is so wrong, illegal for him to say that. This is an ad hoc committee that was set up in 2018. An ad hoc committee that had a 3-member committee. An ad hoc committee that came to sack a 32-38 committee that was set up under a previous government. They looked into that 32 committee and sacked them and brought us 3 people. And those 3 people, as in Jan Kroma herself, Mark, and then Bibi Bright, to come and take over, and they had specific job to do. Remember, Frankie Five should know that there was a specific job that they were supposed to do, and it was just for them to stay in power for 3 months and go through the country and get us people to come and sit and properly design what we have now as the 1048. That was their prime job. And they sat till 4 years and beyond. And nobody in the industry said anything about it, to the extent that they even had budgets of a 2.4 million Ghana cedis or so given to them to work. They went beyond their borders to do so many things which was not, within their mandate. So he shouldn't play with it. This is law. And I'm sorry, if that is how we really want to see the creative arts, played around, FOCAP is not here to see it done like that. We won't see this thing done within any other sector, and we cannot afford to see things like that being done like that. So for him, when he said that, I got scared. I was like, really, if this is the mentality that we have, then we are in trouble. Then it means that everybody once upon a time can wake up, be an ad hoc committee, go through, and then you find yourself into the mainstream, and then we go. And then he said that, Jan Nkrumah had worked, a lot with Mark and all that. Work with what? If you've worked, your job is off. For him to say that a decision was a sort of a decision to say Mark was getting into the ministerial position, and then Jan Nkrumah needed to be there as the chief executive or executive secretary. Who said that? Who designed that? For who to select it? It's just like you a few people sat and then they took a decision to say, okay, I'm going for ministerial position, you take up the executive secretary because there's vacancy there and all that. Meanwhile, we know reasons why people were taking positions and all that. We'll come to that one day. But my point is that if that is how they designed the whole thing, then I'm sorry, FOCAP will not allow something like that to happen. We need the president to do the needful, just as the act says. We are going according to the act. Yeah, but nothing else.
According to him, he says it's a matter of time. He says there are a lot of things on the table of the president, and that if we are patient enough, they will get to it.
There is no excuse.
The second quarter.
Yeah, there's no excuse. He himself came back to say that president has done a needful to appoint Okoboy as NHIS CEO.
Right.
So why? Okoboy's position was it not on the same table? Why are we not prompting him? Why is the ministry and then himself as in Frankie 5 and then the industry itself prompting the president to say that you haven't done this? Why are we waiting to say that or give ourselves excuse that president has a lot to do? This is part of it.
Okay.
This is part of his duties on the table that we need to do. Because you see, we don't want to experience this thing. In 2016, when Uncle Ken Dems were fighting for the Act 935, when John Mahama was leaving in 2016 or so, 17 December, before he assented his signature or whatever they call it on it, it took them how many years to do so? Okay, we don't want to go through the same process.
Do you think it's a political thing?
Yes, it's political. It has turned political. And we need to, accept the fact that it is political now.
Uncle Ken, is it political?
We can't run away from it. It's political.
You vented your spleen enough.
I'm only waiting for you.
Oh, no, don't wait for me. Listen, let me give you a little background. Kojo Prekodangwa.
Yeah.
I've known Kojo since 2000 and
I think 2007, yeah, 2006, 7, thereabout, yeah.
7, when we set up Asempa FM.
Yeah.
Kojo Prekodangwa was recruited from Peace FM to be producer for the shows, the political shows on Asempa, including Ekosi Seng.
Yeah.
I hosted Ekosi Seng on Asempa, reluctantly, but I had to do it because we had to set up the station.
Yeah.
And I had to do it. So my key was crapping, you know.
Yeah.
And it was funny, speaking of crapping on a political show at the time. And Kojo was my producer for a year, on Asempa FM, and we had this bond. So I've known Kojo Prekodangwa as this person who's always seeking for the right things to be done. And I applaud him for that. When Kojo formed and the guys formed FOCAP, he contacted me. He told me about it. He wanted me to be involved, and I told Kojo I'll be on the sides and just give them support, So I understand everything that FOCAP have been trying to do, and they've been doing a lot. They've been, raising a lot of sensible issues to the public. This matter about the Creative Arts Agency, I chanced upon it from Kojo's post one day, and then I said to myself, what's going on? I also have to admit that I agree 100% with the slow pace at which we do things in this country. And Chief's major point that he raised last week about why the president has to be the person to appoint every Tom, Dick, and Harry in this country. That is a huge problem, And that is part of the reasons why the bureaucracy is such that there's so much delay in a lot of things being done and being done properly at that point. So I do not have anything against the issues that Kojo them have raised about this matter. But I got interested as to what exactly, because if it wasn't this particular, what was it? I think it was a committee meeting.
Yeah, the setup of educational committee.
Yes, it was a meeting that was held by the Creative Arts Agency, which Kojo has rightly said that as we speak today, that board has not even been inaugurated for them to elect or the president to appoint an executive secretary. So I said to myself, what's going on? And I had to make some, do some research and find out what exactly was happening and why all of a sudden this had come on the front burner. So from my research, I came across some issues. And Kojo has rightly said, for instance, when Act 935 was passed in 2016, Act 935 was not operationalized after it was passed in 2016 till 2019. And even that, I would not say it was fully operationalized. It was just that a board was formed and an executive secretary appointed with no office, no money. You know the way we do things in Ghana, right? That's exactly what happened to Act 935, and it's being implemented. So this new one, 1048, has not also been operationalized. No board, no executive secretary has been appointed by the president. So when I saw the news about the president's daughter having chaired a meeting in the capacity as an acting CEO or whatever, I was like, hey, what's going on? So I dug well into it. And what I came across was the fact that during the agency period, she was assistant to Mark Okreku-Manteh. And now that Mark Okreku-Manteh has been elevated to the position of deputy minister, and the president has as yet not constituted a board or elected or appointed a new executive secretary, it just came across as, Jan Kroma, who was deputy to Mark, should steer affairs of the agency till the proper things are done. You see, you can come up and say that is not right. But then you ask yourself the question, should there be a lacuna between the period when the proper thing is done and whether there is nothing at all that agency could be doing now in the interim to shape things for when the proper thing is done? You can ask yourself those questions as well. So I realized that apparently before Mark left, this education committee was formed. Before Mark left and became deputy minister.
When it was formed in the second term?
Yes.
In the second term after in 2021?
Yes, it was formed in the second term. So I wanted to know what this whole thing that they did was about. And this is what I came across. Listen to this, Kojo. The acting chief, and then everybody listen. And then when you want to punch holes, you can punch holes and ask your questions.
Yeah.
The acting chief executive officer of the Creative Arts Agency, Jankruma Akufo-Addo, held her first meeting with the Creative Arts Education Committee on Thursday, April 14th, 2022. At the meeting, comprising stakeholders in the creative arts industry, gleaned from the mainstream arts and entertainment sector, the media and academia, Jankroma charged the committee to expedite action on its mandate so they could present a proposed bill to Parliament. My first question was, what mandate? And what bill were they proposing to Parliament? So it went further. She said, I'm hoping that we have some trust, you're so called. I'm hoping that we have some sort of proposed bill before the end of the year to be implemented, she said. As part of laying a solid foundation for the arts in terms of education, the committee has been tasked to find ways of liaising with the Ministry of Education to make teaching and learning in schools more effective and practicable about the arts. Then I realized that, oh, okay, again, this government is supposed to be putting up an art school, a creative arts school, somewhere in the Ashanti region. You know, Kwadaso. So I said, maybe they want things to be properly done before the school starts operating. So I said, it cannot be too bad a thing that they have to do. But the question is, was it their mandate to do it or not? You could question that. You know, you could question that. According to her, there were plans to start the initiative from the teacher training colleges. Kojo, I heard you also argue as to why it should be the teacher training colleges. But then she also went on to explain why it should be the teacher training colleges. Because according to her, starting with the teacher training colleges will ensure there's a firm footing for the project, since teachers are the implementers of the curriculum. And I found that to be in the right direction. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I found that constructive. We found that we don't have the practitioners who are actually trained within the industry itself. But they are separate teachers and not really creative arts teachers, she said. So she spoke with the minister and noted that the challenge with the teaching and learning of creative arts in schools has been as a result of the fact that teachers are not versed in the arts courses. Arts stakeholders have overly expressed worry over the fact that the educational system from the basic level is bereft of the right structures and incentives to make it more attractive and effective. It has therefore been argued that to really experience higher gains in the arts sector, there needs to be a deliberate attempt to harness talents in schools from the cradle. So when I got this explanation as to why this meeting was held with the Education Committee, and the Education Committee is made up of people from all over. The dean from the School of Performing Arts is a member. Panji is a member. There are members from George, our very own Kwame Ajimambeku is a member of the committee as well. So I said to myself, oh, wait a minute. This thing seems to be something that is being done in the right direction. So that if the bill is presented to Parliament before the school starts operation, we would know exactly what's going on. So I didn't have a problem with it. My only problem that I had with it is what Kojodem and everybody here last week raised as to why do we always have ad hoc measures to things? Why hasn't the president been able to inaugurate a board and appoint, even if it is going to be his daughter? I don't have a problem with Jankuma being a part of this if she's well-versed. I've always not had a problem with such things. You know, if she's well-versed in what she does, I don't care. And she could be that, but it should be done properly. So, Kojo, this is what I wanted to say last week, that we made the issue look like everything about it was not productive. But I think going into it, we find out that at least there's some sense in what was being done. That's all I have to say.
So, Uncle Ken, your problem is the time that it's taken to do what is actually
the right thing to do. If we have a law, why are we not implementing the law? I'll always be for the implementation
of the law.
Yeah, that is number one. No problem with that. But in the interim, do we just leave things hanging as they are? For instance, when Act 935
but the question then comes.
When 935 was passed, Kojo, like we just said here, it took 4 years for even the board and the executive secretary to be appointed and formed. In the interim, we members of the old Cinematograph and Exhibitions Board were still previewing films.
Within which law? Not with the new law. But as
the new law had been passed,
still
but it had not
with the
been
old one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just to fill the gap, because if we had let things to be what we wanted, the whole country would have been flooded with very bad material. So I think that what we should be looking and what FOCAP should be hitting at is what they are doing, which is to make sure that the right thing is done as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So for me, here's why the advocacy of FOCAP is also very important. Like I'm currently saying, to drum home the point that the creative industry is a very important industry to be overlooked in such manners. Look, this is the most important law for the industry. This is the most important law that's supposed to enable the industry. There are many parts to it. Part of it, like I was indicating last week, was that all of us that are running creative enterprises are supposed to be registered with this organization, first and foremost. Secondly, there are fees. The law had indicated that once it's passed and it's assented, and you have knowledge of it, you're supposed to go to them, do the registration. If you do not do it after a particular period, 6 months, you fall foul of the law.
Right.
You understand? Beyond that as well, there was a whole talk about a creative arts fund, which I know this is supposed to pursue as well, which will be critical to the development and enablement of the industry. So this is an industry that holds so much promise. We have just gone in and discussed how, by virtue of what people are doing in their own way, like Stoneboy has done, see how automatically a major label such as Universal is turning their sights to Ghana. By coming into Ghana alone, the amount of website, Music Business Worldwide and international websites that had to report that particular thing alone, and the spotlight it brings to the country is enormous. And so if you understand all these things and the things that it drives for you, it's important already. And yesterday I met a couple of industry people. There are a number of things that's playing out in industry. Last week I detailed it. It's playing out in industry, and there's supposed to be a lead agency that's supposed to keep their tabs on it. A lot of people do not know this. There's a trend. The trend suggests that between January to November, no events, major events in industry
Sales tickets.
No. I mean, it's having
money.
like positive ticket sales. Everybody's experiencing low ticket sales. And it's increasingly becoming clear that December, for instance, will be about the only period where people or events promoters actually experience some positive ticket sales.
All right.
Now these are insights and details that you need to understand as an organization, and then from a state level, understand how maybe certain decisions that may impact the socio-economic lifestyle of people could impact all of these things in the ways that you can inform and do certain things, so you will know, okay, if the Creative Arts Fund is coming, where does it go to and everything. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. And then they are also right, and I think that's also very legitimate that, nobody's saying that when the law is there, the president can appoint anybody in acting capacity. But as it stands now, I don't know if that has been done and communicated. I don't know if there's any correspondence, whether internal memo to that effect, where it's been said that, Jan Krumah has been asked to act in the interim. It's not there. And that's why I was indicating that if you understand, if you are in industry, understand how important this industry is in terms of its ability to employ young people and provide livelihoods, sustainable livelihoods for women, and how and what is coming. If you understand how young creatives, Ghanaian creatives, are actually interfacing and doing things with international organizations to a point where we are getting to a point where you are going to lose your culture or lose some of your creative product to the world, your catalog is gone. We're getting to that point where the critical Ghanaian hits and songs and creative products that are going to be created here are not going to be owned by us.
Right.
It's owned by international organizations. And these things carry your culture.
Sure.
These things carry your identity and everything. Who is keeping the tabs on this one? That's the most important thing. Apart from this thing, there's nothing else you can do. This thing carries a lot of parts. Apart from executing this and executing it well, there's nothing you can do to enable the industry anymore. Everything, it's all here. So it's taking time first and foremost, and that's why this advocacy is very important. I mean, this informs the reason why a lot of people, it's got to a point where there's been a certain lethargy in that party in terms of people in the industry even calling on government to do certain things. It's because it's almost like they don't pay attention. For a government that rode on the goodwill of the creative industry, for the first time, like I said, this particular party and government and the president in 2016 and 2020, for the first time in the history of the country, we had in creative industry people come together and form a whole movement to lobby an industry, lobby the personnel, leverage the popularity of these people to try to make the president and the party look so cool to young people to a point where they won an election. So it's very important, and they made very important a lot of lofty promises to it. 4 years came, they couldn't even achieve even 15% of all of that. After all the talk and the noise and everything, and then the thinking was that, okay, now that you've won this, I mean you've won a second term, they took a lot of flack for it. I was neck deep in campaigning and calling them out and raising a lot of points and strategy issues and all of those things. There are a lot of promises that was made. Critical to it was how there was going to be an appointment of somebody from industry one more time to oversee to these developments and everything. I remember the point I made when one of the days when we were discussing about whether we should expect so much from Mark or not, and I said no, let's hasten slowly, because if there's no overarching commitment, right, from the government generally, they will set Mark up to fail. And it won't be about him or his effectiveness. It will be about the lack of commitment and strong will from the government to having to enable the creative industry.
Right.
It's very important. Critical, the advertising house, they are tired. When was the last time you heard anybody talking about the advertising bill? They are tired. Broadcasting bill, they are tired. Because you can't go into about 6 to 7 years. Yeah. You don't care.
So it boils down to time.
Care. Nothing. And then once you fast this, and they are very very things about this, actually provides you the opportunity to reset your creative industry. You've got this fine opportunity to do that. Like, it's like a legacy that you have to leave. That one self, you can't even do it to yourself. That as president of Ghana, Nanado, when I came, I oversaw a particular law that gave the opportunity to reset the whole creative industry and enable it in more important ways. In more important ways. That legacy for yourself, so you can't even actually ensure that.
I'm sure the president has an answer to that. But Chief Moment,
let me clarify the points. So because you've just held the act, so the act has been passed, right?
You will not make noise.
Has the president assented to it?
Yeah, but obviously,
so now it's law.
Yeah.
So what was your last points?
Execution.
Okay, so you're not talking about execution.
Right.
Execution.
Right.
Okay.
So Chief, let's hear from you.
Yes. Is execution.
No, I think
that all the things that has been spelled out in the law should happen, should follow the certain process and all of those things. That's all there is about it.
Okay, thanks.
I think that there's been some very insightful comments. Let me start from Uncle Ken and the point that Uncle Ken was generally making, and which we find in our governance architecture. So, for example, when governments change power, not even change power, even when there's an election cycle, and after the elections, we have this whole issue about DCs who have to remain in office, even almost illegitimately, because the assemblies haven't been constituted, to approve, But the point is that the president always asks them to stay over until the new appointments are made, right? So that's a similar case that Uncle Ken was trying to make, that in the absence of a substantive appointment, do you allow people who have already occupied the positions to still be there, albeit illegitimately, while the right thing is being done, because you can't leave the lacuna. So I get where that Uncle Ken you are coming from. That these the guys who were there in that committee that you even Kojo mentioned, it was supposed to serve a particular purpose, but ended up being there for 4 years. So for the sake of institutional memory, Jan Kroma, Frankie Five, and who else? Bibi Bright. Is Bibi Bright still in this?
Nobody knows.
She's okay, so we don't know, right? Yeah, so I get. I mean, the point that Uncle Ken is made, very critically on that point, and not to digress. And Uncle Ken talked about the fact that the committee held a meeting with the education committee, and so this education committee is supposed to be under the Creative Art Council.
Agency.
Yes,
Apparently
agency.
It was
Sorry,
constituted
agency.
By Mark.
Okay.
Even before he left the agency.
Okay, so we don't even know. So even currently, we don't know about that.
It was a council, not an agency.
Yeah, the Creative Arts Council.
Creative Arts.
So now it's an agency.
Now it's an agency.
Now the law makes it an agency.
And it was a council because they had
different people.
No, he's not talking about the council itself. He's talking about the education.
So right now I'm talking
Yeah,
about
but
education.
yes, but it was set up
My
by
point
the
is
council.
By the council.
Yeah.
If that's what you
My
want
point
to
is why would an ad hoc committee that had a prime focus was to go around the country, select people, come to deal with this, went beyond their mandate, and then started doing committees, having master classes.
Oh yes,
That's
they
another
did all that.
yes, but but who gave them that
but that's
authority
gone
to
and
be
past.
doing beyond?
So it was done illegitimately. right?
Again,
So my point is that this current committee is it also a carryover from
a carryover from the
there.
council,
because
which
the
has been-
agency hasn't even appointed
Exactly.
its board
No.
to
Exactly.
appoint its
So why do you bring
management, let
something-
alone to constitute committees.
Right.
And I guess that's actually, if because it's one thing to say that look, these guys should continue while we wait for a substantive appointment, but to also have them again constitute committees, then it's like everything is flowing from an illegitimate point of view. So I think that it's a matter of urgency that the president has to make that appointment. And as Sadiq mentioned, right now pressure is being brought to bear by FOCUP. Maybe we need to amplify that message. That's why we started this conversation last week. We are continuing it this week. Last week I made my views very known about even our entire governance system and architecture.
Yeah.
I think that's something we have to take, and I think that the people themselves, someone like Jan Kroma, obviously we are made to know she's the president's daughter. It means she has her father's ear, right? So it is even in her own interest to go crying to the daddy. The daddy, look, you gotta legitimize my position. The industry people are tearing me.
Guys, do you think there is?
Yeah.
Do you
Can
think
you
there is
imagine-
another?
can you imagine
Do you think there is
the
another
uproar?
agenda, Uncle Ken?
The
I want to
uproar.
find
Yes.
out.
The uproar.
Yeah.
If Jankuma is able to get everything that she wants for the creative arts
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, but
from her father.
Yes.
Can you
Okay,
also
so there is-
look at it
No,
from the
uproar
angle?
as in how?
As in
But okay,
making sure that the creative arts agency, because she's there,
Yes.
gets everything that it needs.
Okay, this particular
From
government has
government.
always found a way to deflect those things and make nonsense of some of those. They've
Okay,
always found a
gentlemen,
way to
I
do
want
that.
to find
Other
out
than that,
something.
okay, if you're
Don't you
gonna go by
think?
that
Don't you
specific-
think there is an agenda by the president that
Yes.
that he hasn't rolled out yet? Like Frankie said last time, maybe
Yes.
it's only about time. I mean, we all agree that.
Babembium.
No,
Yes,
I don't-
no,
for-
we
The
all
second
agree.
year
It's not a
of your
matter of
second-
agenda.
You change your
No,
tune.
We
I
all
think that-
agree.
Second
Yes.
year, no. The
Easy.
second
Agency
year.
gets everything.
Listen, the second year of your second term, we are actually in the second quarter of it. That's a question. Babembium.
Okay,
Yes. So
so-
Kofi, it's not a matter
Yeah,
of
Chief
agenda.
Mumi,
I don't think
just-
that there's any overarching vision that is delaying
would
the
have been
president's,
communicated by
because
now.
I just
Would have
think
been
that it's
clear
just a
by
matter
now.
of priority. I think that the
Yes.
president has a lot on his
Yes.
plate. I mean, we are not the only people asking for substantive appointments.
But which is what
It started
Frankie
with
Five
a
said.
lot of government
Yeah.
boards and agencies, and the appointments have been coming, right? So that's why the point Frankie was also trying to make last week that look, it's early days yet. But that's the point Sadiq is making. We're already in 2018. We're already in the second year.
Second year.
Yeah,
of the
I mean,
second
that's-
term.
we're
We're
almost-
actually going in the
and we-
second quarter.
Second quarter. So it's like the president is halfway.
Almost.
It's halfway. So if we're going from here to Kumasi, if that's the president China, where are we at? Where's the
How
halfway?
long did it take?
He has passed Linda door.
Oh, actually, not.
How long did it take them to pass the act?
Yes.
What was said at the time?
How long did it take them to pass the act?
A
What was
couple of
said at
years.
the time? 4 years.
4 years.
And what was said? It took
How-
it took the same level
The
of
same
pressure.
level of pressure.
Yes.
So
And you know
Kojo's
what?
fear is that
And you know what?
we might.
Until
Yes.
it became a political issue within the creative industry in the ways that was
Sadiq.
taking the effectiveness of the people from creative that were making this. Because I know We made a lot of noise on it.
Yes.
So I mean,
It became a
Sadiq,
key
maybe just like
political
how
issue because even the party I belong to, for
Yes.
instance, made a promise on it. Then quickly the people moved on
you
it.
see, just like how JM has promised to repeal e-levy, immediately he comes to power. Maybe he should also promise to appoint a substantive management on the very first day if he wins power. Once we politicize,
when it comes to acts,
Yes.
when it comes to acts and the passage of such acts,
Yeah.
I do not expect Sadiq to be partisan.
okay.
Again,
Look,
why?
let me make my point.
Yes.
It's already
Let me,
partisan.
yeah. But
Okay.
you see,
Very partisan in their
somebody like
manifestos
Sadiq
and all that.
Abdullahi,
Yes.
that I
Full
know,
name.
Baba,
Abu.
that I know so well,
Yes.
and that I love so much. I do not expect him to make certain issues partisan, because then it doesn't help the cause. Sadiq holds.
But again, this conversation is not even. Oh, you go ahead.
Again, your microphone.
Sadiq holds up. He holds up the act.
Yeah.
And he goes on and on and on. This
Yeah.
act, this act is supposed to be the be all of the industry. And I agree with him.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Because I know the work that went into it.
And you know
Starting
the
with
work
us.
that went
Yeah.
into it.
Starting with that.
In the same vein, me and Kojo Prekodankwa sitting here
Yeah.
know the work that went into Act
935, yes.
and how long it took
Yes.
935
Yes.
to also be passed.
Yeah.
Which was under.
And
And
John
that is
Mahama.
government.
Mama, yes.
8 years,
no,
they
but you
didn't
see-
pass 935
but you see,
till they were leaving office.
Again,
So you see,
again,
when
what is the point here?
Yeah.
The point
That-
is,
that-
the point is
That
when
our
we are
governance is
talking-
not generally very
when we are
responsive
talking
to issues
about
of the
this
creative
But I've
industry.
been very
No,
consistent on that.
Yes.
That talk
No,
as well.
yes,
And you can't lose
but
that.
today and last week, you sit here and you chastise a particular government for not being able to do something. And I'm saying that when you do it that way, it is not right.
And
Let
again,
us
it's
look-
not the fact
let
that
us look
they
at it. Let us look at the problem.
made it look
And
like
know
it
that-
is something.
Kofi, I have a few questions. And again, the points I'm raising, are these points factual or not?
Factual.
That's one. Two, and even if you want to use the previous government and everything, this around the same time, it took the same level of pressure, right? And a promise to actually punish them, which actually even happened anyway.
And
Right?
the punishment
to get
was?
them to actually by losing elections.
Oh, okay.
Because we've come to realize that until you weaponize these things as industry, you don't pay attention. And I've been very consistent, personally, about the lack of responsiveness to our sector by subsequent government. That's not something that I'm limiting to this government. I've been very consistent about it on this same platform. So nobody should say that, because these people
But I'm
did
saying-
this. But again, I'm saying that because, and you see, now more than ever, if you look at the development in the creative economy across the world, you can't even waste time. You don't even have the luxury
Nobody
of
is
that.
supposed to
Every
waste time.
day there's something new.
Happening, right.
Every day there's something new
Yeah.
that's consuming
I agree
consuming
with
it.
you.
So you have to move with the times. If you wasted time then, even if you made a lot of noise about it and everything, and today you don't want others making noise about it.
Make
right?
noise.
Today more than ever, we cannot also keep quiet about the things that should be done to enable the creative industry. It's more or less like you are not taking us for granted. And we need to
Chief-
point out the
Chief-
fact that
Chief has just
you are
made-
not serious about the sector.
Yeah.
You are not serious to enable the sector, and you don't want to do anything to enable the sector, and you are just playing with us. How else
2024
should we say
elections will be
it?
interesting.
Okay, Kojo, let me take your
Kofi,
thoughts.
I was making a point. Let me land. You
Land.
see, it is said that if you must eat a frog, you must eat a fat and a juicy one. You right? Last week, we kind of like made the point that it's possible that the reason why the appointment is delayed is that if the president appoints the daughter, it becomes a political issue, right? And people will criticize him for that. But my point is that people
don't
are
even
already
want to even have
criticizing
that.
the president for that. When they list when they bring out the list of appointees that are closely related to him, Jan Krume's name is there. You know, Sami James will not miss the opportunity.
It's in family affairs.
Yeah, so it is already
Sadiq
there.
will not miss
So
that
my point is that
opportunity.
why
no, but I don't do that for
the,
industry.
in the
I don't do
interest
that for
of the
industry.
of the agency, in the interest of Jankruma herself and her legitimacy in the industry, because the industry people must see her as legitimate and they must respect what she's doing, because she cannot act alone if she doesn't get the support. If we are stuck with her, then we might as well make it legitimate.
Right.
And I'm saying that if
everybody is
she
entitled to
herself cannot leverage that position of her proximity to the president,
Then it's sad, you mean?
And Chief, guess
you know,
what? Chief,
then you koyana say about
Right.
guess what?
right.
I've heard her speak.
yeah.
And you could see, you could see the fact that she's exposed and understand what she wants to achieve for the sector. I've heard her speak. Yeah. She's very progressive, and if she's given the opportunity, she can go on to do something. You feel the hunger and ambition in her. She's very serious about these things. I've heard her speak. I was at a particular event that I spoke. I was a panel on. I had a seminar. Beyond that, there was a video. There was a video that came from the education committee, and from what she was saying and everything, you saw somebody that had a proper understanding. There's some depth to her.
She understands
so the point I'm
issues,
saying is that this is somebody who's obviously is qualified to be that. Why do you care about what your political opponent will say about your family? If you are somebody that actually knows about, there's a lot of things the president hasn't paid heed to and gone ahead to do that. Maybe this one.
Yeah,
one.
I get you. Okay, Kojo, please let me pick Kojo's final thoughts. Kojo, your final thoughts on this one. I like the fact that you are touching on E-level. We're going to come back to that, but before that, Kojo, I'd like to pick your thoughts on your final words on this matter, and then we can move on. We will.
It's a food
We will. We will.
Yes, I think that all said and done.
We should discuss that next week.
No, we can start now.
We shall see. No, not now. Not now. Sorry, but Kojo.
What do you say?
Let's start now.
Kojo, let me have your final thoughts.
In the spirit of VJ, that's fine. You want to have Kojo next time?
Yeah, Kojo, your final thoughts on this one.
Yes, my final thoughts. I think that it's something that I'm happy that we brought this thing up, and I'm happy that the attention is being given to this. I'm hoping and praying that the president, with immediate effect, just as we said, if your daughter gives you a call, you're going to pick up. It's no two ways about that. And the passion that the young lady, has on this creative artist, and
the depth she has.
Exactly. You listen to her.
Yes.
She
did it.
Yes.
The murals in Accra.
Yes.
And she has a hard-working lieutenant, Frankie Fife.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you finish it?
To do that, and I pray that.
Sorry, we've given you a free pass by promising that once you appoint her, we won't do family and friends politics. So now he has a free pass to appoint her.
Kojo, I want you to land. I want Kojo to land.
President.
Okay. Let's allow Kojo to land, please. Kojo.
President should do the needful. In our industry, in our part of our industry, even if she's the one appointed, industry will still support. We are not into the main political stream where we're going to have issues with her.
We don't have an option.
We don't. You understand? We don't.
We don't have an option when she comes in for us to
exactly. And for me, I think that if president should be happy, to bring us, her. We know what she can do. This niche that we are in, we understand. It's by default that she is the president's daughter, but we know the kind of job she can do and all that. So we just need the president, rule of law, to respect the law, and then let's run with it, and then let's see things. That then we can really assess and know the way forward within the industry.
In the meantime, how can industry people assess the act?
It's online.
It's online. Okay. All right.
Anybody knows?
Okay.
Let's make that announcement, because I think that's also very important for us.
Okay, Kojo, so where can we find that? And then quickly we can move on. Where can
get
Assembly Press? Okay, all right, thank you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard Kojo Preku Dankwa. He's a convener for FOCAP. We've heard his thoughts on it. We've had thoughts on the same matter from Uncle Kennedy. We've also heard from Chief Moomin. Sadiq Abdullahi Abu has also been speaking. Well, what everyone seems to be asking for is the president to do the needful by making the appointments official, and then we can have a headway, in the creative arts industry. Let me take this message on our WhatsApp console. It says, indeed, there is a lot of power given to the president by the laws of the land. Amendment has been called for years, but guess what? The first gentleman does not agree for amendments. He deems it okay and nothing wrong with the laws. How do we progress, please? Too much jokes in Ghana. That's coming from Nana Kwesi. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still on. We're going to touch on VGMAs. But before that, let me remind you that at 6 p.m. we'll be coming your way from the Labadi Beach Hotel with media, showbiz, and motherhood dialogue. with Adam Naite as host. Also on the bill, Dr. Ellen Osei, Gifty Yanti, Jifa Bampo, Nana Ba Namwa, Diamond Michelle, Dinah Hobson, Claudia Lumo, and of course Doreen Avio. I like to say that these are accomplished women. They are doing amazing in the industry, but how do they juggle, motherhood and their media career? And we're doing this in the spirit of Mother's Day, which is happening tomorrow. Where are you taking your mother to? How well do you love your mother? Do you think she deserves a life of goodness? Are you always on point just like mom? If you're given a bottle of Frytol vegetable oil and a bag of Fortune Delight rice, what meal will you prepare for your mother on Mother's Day? What rice meal does your mom like best? And which one does she cook best? Could there be a story behind her choice, an emotional or sentimental attachment? I want to know. How about asking your mom tomorrow to relax, to chill, and to, have some drinks in a cozy environment while you cook that very special meal for her? If you want to pamper your mom on Mother's Day by cooking her best rice dish for her, just send a photo of yourself and your mom, share the story behind the meal, add the ingredients to it, and we're going to shop for it. Just send it to us via WhatsApp on 055-111-1997 and simply stay tuned in. We're going to give you a call back, walk you through the next steps, so that you can also stand a chance of getting other amazing gifts for your mother. The Cook for Mama promotion is brought to you by Frytol. Frytol, you deserve a life of goodness. A vitamin A fortified oil. City and Habitat, rent to own. Woodine, Le Créateur. AUR Restaurant, food is the ingredients that binds us all together. Mobile Doctors Ghana Limited, doctors at your homes and our offices. Cook for Mama, because she deserves a life of goodness. I'm going to be here tomorrow as well. It's going to be amazing. I don't know what I'm cooking for my mom though, but hey, probably some jollof. Yeah, Sammy Forsin gave me some really good apple last month, I think. A floral company into fresh flowers and indoor plants, yeah? Call them Seti Gold Flower Cafe. Yeah. Seti Gold Flower Cafe runs services like event, decor, landscaping, and all other plant care servicing. Mother's Day special offer is here from Seti Gold Flower Cafe. They have well-wrapped packages for all at affordable prices. Pre-orders comes with huge discounts and free delivery. If you make pre-orders ahead of tomorrow, it comes with huge discounts and free delivery at Seti Gold Flower Cafe. On the 8th of May, 2022, tomorrow, Mother's Day will have our stands at the Osu, Oxford Street in the same building with Fidelity Bank and our main office at Adrigano inside Maxmart. If you want to give them a call ahead of that, please call them on 0245 196 537. 0245 537, or you can call 0500 940005. Social media handles on Instagram, you can find them at Seti Gold Flower _cafe. On YouTube, you can do that, Seti Gold Flower Cafe. Let's go natural with Seti Gold. Mothers, I have said this, I'm going to say it again. Mothers, your first friend, your best friend, your forever friend, they are the ones who know us best and love us the most. Everyone is going to leave you, but your mama ain't never going to leave you. They are worth celebrating, isn't that true? For this reason, The Mirror, a graphic communications group brand, presents to you a Toast to Mothers, a 3-course buffet lunch at Oak Plaza Hotel this Sunday, 8th of May 2022. That's tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. Tickets are going for single 350 Ghana cedis. Ticket for double is 600 Ghana cedis. For your family package discounts, kindly call 0240-954-611. Or you can call 0248-139-150. Numbers again, 0240-954-611 or 0248-139-150. Grab this opportunity to give to and create fun memories with your mom whilst you enjoy food and drinks, live band music, lucky dips, and amazing giveaways from our sponsors. See you and your mama there. Back into the studio, and gentlemen, we are back and we're live.
Sadek is convincing us to vote a particular way.
No, Uncle Ken is a hard one. Here. It's a hard one to convince you.
Okay.
Everything I talk, you go talk something else.
Okay, great. So we all know. I mean, the event started yesterday, last night. The VGMAs. We've had day one. We're having day two tonight. This is the main event, a very big one in the music industry. I really want to find out your thoughts, quick ones, and then we can call it wraps and all go get dressed for VGMA. I want to start with Chief Moomin.
I don't have a ticket. How do I go get it?
Don't worry. I'm not making any promises, but don't worry.
I actually enjoy watching VGMs on television.
Well, I think I do too.
Commentary. Yeah. That's where the fun is. And because I'm not a very glamorous person, I usually don't attend such glamorous.
It's exciting and fun when you are there.
Yeah, but I've actually performed on the VGMA stage before. Actually, it was actually one of my major moments. You know,
That's true.
when some years ago when I was doing spoken word, and I used to take chicken feed. Even on the VGMA stage, I took chicken feed in terms of my fee. But afterwards, I said, "Charlie, I've come VGMA to smash my back. Let me increase my fee." And guess how much I started charging after VGMA?
How much?
1,000 cities.
Okay, so your thoughts
No,
on
I mean,
VGMA, your expectations.
It's one of the biggest nights.
Yeah, your
of
expectations.
entertainment, So I'm expecting to see, a great performance, great curation. We've gotten to the point where we are now expecting all of those little setbacks. So I'm looking forward for a great show. I've tipped who I think should be, artist of the year. I think
which
it
is
going to go to Kiddy. When I look at the list of musicians, I just think that he is well deserving of it. So yes, I wish him all the best. He was here with us a couple of weeks ago. But as usual, I look forward to great stage, great performance, funny moments, exciting moments, things to tweet about.
Okay.
And I'll be home drinking my green tea.
He said
Uncle Ken,
when he said drinking, I was like, oh, wow.
And then your father was
like,
green tea.
Hold on.
Obviously, I forget the name. Baba, the thing that we fry. We fry the milk that we fry. I'm introducing a
Wagashi.
Shall I like say to you know things?
Me have grown near Zongo.
Okay. Uncle Ken, do you know wagashi?
No, I don't.
Oh my
you don't know
goodness.
Wagashi.
What is it?
Baba, please.
Fried.
It's like
fresh
fried milk.
Yeah.
It's like fried milk.
So
Fried
they let the milk, so the cow
It's like
milk,
natural
they allow it to coagulate,
And you find
they spice it,
Listen
and then they
Hey,
fry
Philip.
it.
and it's nice.
No, yeah, Uncle
They allow it
Ken.
to dry.
Yes.
It's nice. Philip
Yeah, no, it's a delicacy.
Philip has been
actually.
coming to Zongo.
frying milk.
Yes, so
Uncle
they allow
Ken.
it to coagulate, so it
Uncle
comes
Ken,
together.
don't
nicely.
worry. I've seen a cooler around. I think Sadiq brought something. Maybe there is wagashi
People go line
inside.
up
You
for
try.
you.
Don't worry.
But this one, Philip has a Zongo female friend. She will bring some stuff.
But why did you stress on the female friend? Anyway, Kojo,
I forgot myself.
Kojo, your expectations for tonight.
Yes,
Where on Kwanche?
I expect great show. Yesterday was wonderful. 13 awards went for the industry awards, and I enjoyed that one. And the people who were, awarded, as a kudos to them, Kwesi Peas and the rest. I think that it was good.
So who is picking artist of the year?
For me, I see Kiddy doing it.
Okay, so we have two kiddies.
I see Kiddy doing that.
Great. Sadiq,
Yes.
artist of the year.
I would want to sit on the fence.
Why would you want to sit on the
Good
fence?
traveler.
Because the two of them, Kitty and Blacko.
Blacko is on it, eh?
Yeah, Blacko is there.
Are two of my friends, and these are the ones that are almost
Yeah.
neck to neck. But
Right.
obviously, if you look at it on the basis of the work that was done last year, it looks like a straight Kitty win.
Okay.
But often there's a funny thing about awards because it's happening this year. Critically, the last 3 months has been a Blacko month.
Right.
Exactly.
And just sometimes it's been Blacko month. It can have an impact even in the votes and everything. But if you look at the 40 million streams Kitty did last year, if you look at where he's activated his music and where it went, because last year that the Kitty song "Touch It" was the most streamed
Yeah.
Ghanaian song.
Yeah.
Globally, and that was a no mean achievement, But again, if because of the sentiment now is points to
Right.
and Blacko. And that's why for me, because of my closeness and association to the
You'd
two
want
of
to
them,
sit
I
on
would
the
want to
bench.
sit on the
Yeah,
bench
no
in
day.
that.
Uncle
But
Ken.
I'm really looking forward.
But
looking
Quick just at least the guy needs time a bit.
Yeah,
Right.
So you can confidently say Kiddy. The queen is just
Okay, fine.
Umbrella.
So we have 2.5 kiddies. Uncle Ken, who is picking home the Artist of the Year award?
This is a head over heart matter.
Yeah, Charlie.
What your head tells you and what your heart
Yeah.
desires.
Yeah.
I would want Kiddy to pick him, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard other arguments along the way. And today I had a very interesting argument on a sister radio station.
About the Kwame Eugene one? Or
No,
Black?
not Kwame Eugene. And somebody went on the tangent of the gospel musician
Joe Meto.
Oyema Mercy.
Oyema Mercy, yeah.
She's also in the this thing.
She's
Yeah.
in there.
Apparently she's there. And the things that were said about Oyema
She headlined her own show, Tehila Experience.
and the song that she had going for her and all that.
Otinumu.
Otinumu,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And I said to myself, we are in for something.
And if you know how the gospel people and the churches
You
vote.
know?
So, Uncle Ken, what are we in for tonight?
We're in for more controversies.
Okay,
No,
but who will be your artist of the year?
We haven't seen them organize and push a movement in the ways they did for Dan Hamilton before the close of voting lines.
Okay.
Maybe they
We
are
haven't
taking a
seen
break.
it, they haven't
So,
seen the
Uncle Ken,
church
you're
do
going
it.
for Kiddy?
I'm going for Kiddy. But
Okay.
just,
I think
Okay.
you're talking about
We
Caleb, yeah?
have to go.
Yes, I was talking about
So he
Caleb.
just WhatsApp me. and
Yeah,
said,
Caleb.
"You're
I
talking
listened to
about
Caleb's show.
Yeah, Caleb, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Thank you very much for your
No.
thoughts, Uncle Ken.
But just before,
Yes,
the
please.
industry awards that was held last night,
Uh-huh.
I got introduced to an artist,
Don't tell me Niela.
Niela,
Yeah.
that I had never heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because,
Niela.
you know, I was going for my girl
Yeah.
Abiana.
Abiana,
Right.
yeah.
to regain her title,
Yeah.
you know. And then this girl was voted.
Yeah,
She
Niela
won
is-
the
Niela
best
is
vocal
an
act.
artist.
And I said, who's this? Because I had never heard of her, you know, never heard her music
Yeah.
or anything of that
Yeah.
sort. But I happened to listen to her song. Something praise. What's
It has a title like that. Yeah,
it
just
has a
not
certain
not the
title.
spiritual. She has a song.
Where you are,
Where you are, yeah.
where you are. It's a gospel
Yeah.
tune, but her vocal dexterity is super. So I was not too disappointed
Okay.
with that, and this is what the industry awards are for.
All about yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
what they're all about.
All
To
right.
introduce to you
Yeah.
people that are doing great work that you haven't heard about. So kudos to the lady.
Okay.
I'd follow her. And see.
Alrighty. That's what Uncle Ken says. We've been having a conversation with Chief Moomin, poet, playwright, and creative entrepreneur. Sadiq Abdullahi Abu, CEO of 3 Music Networks. Ken Adi, ace broadcaster and former artist manager. Also, we had in here Kojo Preko Dankwa, FOCAP convener. And we've been talking about, FOCAP accusing Creative Arts Agency of perpetrating legalities, as well as touching briefly on GH Music's biggest night. Who wins what? The 23rd VGMAs happening tonight at the Accra International Conference Center. In the meantime, a very happy birthday going out to you, Amma Bay. Amma Bay, it's your birthday. Happy birthday going out to you. Wishing you loads and loads of God's blessings. This has been Showbiz A to Z, brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go and Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink from Casa Preco Company Limited. You're going to be enjoying tunes right here on Joy99.7 FM. But at 6 p.m., we'll switch over to Labadi Beach Hotel where Adam Naite and her guest brings us media, showbiz, and motherhood dialogue. And we call it Thriving in Our Space. You don't want to miss that one. Find out exactly how these strong women are juggling their, demanding media career and motherhood. That's what it is. But tomorrow also there is the Cook for Mama promotion. That's going to happen tomorrow is the D-Day. Make sure that you come through, yeah? Especially if you've sent in your entries. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I am Kofi Hayford. Thanks to Philip Nye, Anita Tay, Crispy K, and every other person that helped with production, and also to my guests and panel for helping this show become a success. I'm pretty sure the George Quay is going to be with you next week, Saturday. So keep it locked right here. In the spirit of Mother's Day, leaving you in the hands of Obrafour. He calls this one Mame. I am Kofi Hayford. I sat in for George Quay. Enjoy the evening.
Ghana. my bedroom. Oh, back time, you get back the Mama, what did me a full fee? Raffles, I say penny. Mammy, why you in it? Oh, back time, you get back the Mama, what did me a full fee? Oh, raffles, I say penny. Mammy, why you in it? I wore yeah, and so one paba. Baba Dayedi, and I mean whom be that. Me dream one, being who dear Minka, and Papa Bient me, yet why am I will me assay, the more frasty, Odin to Bossy, Ahom Brassy, and Yami Huntiasi, Daddy Bissine, intimate me take my bepe, one Casmida was it, and she ran come with ding, Yami Mama holding me, Nami wa mamma, and I meant to not bedding, what you tell me when Yami so console, or that way in the Diacha Menage, I promise you a bring Yami Tidal, oh, Yankopon. One of us on the assassin in Yankonton, and I'll bomb your pimpon. Yeah, Mr. Winnie says, I mean, my minimum print. I want to find out what I saw and yet 10 and Mama, Mama was with the new world. Mama, what did me a free? A brat for me, say myself, then ye. Mammy, why ye in it? I come my panties here, or the pine for super. In every mammy, I am part my main car. Me what in Biancanema, into a cocket so cry, ya or not, and can't me area, want me the Obuada, or the I am share, I hope a prayer, ye may come up head year. You could see said I may home better me, only any year, best year, or do more fair year. A strap up na brand here, Mammy J. so to saw this year. We in a wine a bay year, Mammy Quan a bay year. It's me, you bonny, I had the one year. I was so me crap to watching me who knew so. Coming quite a bonny, some one for me home before, one mammy look so. Ukrainian men who say, what bring me home, Papa, or you're by him, mammy to me if I want to cha-cha. I said, I will fata. Mama, it's a pata.